Oh, hey! This is Janisha with Beauty Vibe Hours. If you'd like to see how to do this classic makeup look, keep watching. Alright people, let's get this makeup party started. I'm going to start out with Makeup Forever's primer, the smoothing primer. It's the one in the gray tube. And I'm putting it all over my face and skipping my neck. Getting a nice even application. And moving on to foundation, I'm using MAC Prolongwear foundation in the color NC44. And I'm putting it all over my face and neck. But I am putting some under my eyes, even though I will be going back with concealer in that area later. Making sure I get the foundation color all over evenly. And don't forget that hairline. You want to blend that color all the way up into your hairline and down your neck. Don't forget that upper lip. And especially when you're taking pictures, you want to make sure you do your neck as well, so there's no lines of demarcation and everything is nice and even. Moving on to concealer, I'm using MAC Prolongwear. I'm using a mix of two different colors, NC45 and NC35. And by mixing those two colors together, I take a little bit of that orange tint that's in the NC45 and it brightens it up without making it ashy looking. It just gives a little bit brighter effect, especially under the eyes. And I also put it in my T-zone as well. I'm taking a fluffy brush just to blend that out to make sure there's no lines or creasing under my eyelids. Moving on to brows, I'm using the MAC Eyebrow Pencil in the color Spiked. It's a dark brown pencil. And you want to make sure that even if your hair is jet black, if you've dyed it jet black, that you use a color that's a little bit lighter on your brows so that it looks more natural. I'm just blending out those strokes with the pencil with a spoolie, a clean one with nothing on it. Just perfecting the shape a little bit and making sure both sides are as close to the same as I can get it. And I take that same concealer mix and I go around the brow, just give it a nice clean shape. And the concealer I put under the eyebrow I use as a base for my eyeshadow later. I like to use concealer as an eyeshadow base. Works well for me. If you have oilier lids, you may want to use an eyeshadow base, one that's specific, but most of the time concealer works just as well. I'm just blending that concealer down. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Make sure everything's nice, even, and blended. Right, and I'm just going down my T-zone where I put all my concealer with a fluffy brush, blending it out well. nice and blended, which is important. Moving on to the eyeshadow, I'm using the Ulta eyeshadow in the color Sable in my crease area. And I'm using a MAC 217 brush to do this. Nice fluffy brush. And then I'm taking that same brush and I'm using the color Espresso in the outer corner. Some people call it the outer V. And that's usually where a darker color goes to give a little contrast and shading to the eyes. And again, what you do to one side, do to the other. I'm using the Tarte Maracuja. I'm not sure exactly how you say that, but I think that's how you say it. Creaseless concealer in medium sand on my eyelids. I'm using this so that I have a strong base for the cream colored shadows that I'm going to use in a few minutes, just so that they stand out nicely and show up a little bit better than they would if I were just to use the concealer base for this particular look. To stand out just a little bit more. Make those neutral colors pop. Blend that out nice and even. This particular concealer is kind of thick, and I'm going back in with a fluffy brush to blend all that out. Now I'm going to take a flat brush and I'm going to use the color Mylar. It's a very light cream color, just to highlight the inner corners of my eyes before I actually get to the lids. Make sure that area is nice and bright. And I'm actually going to wet my brush next so that the next color stands out on the lid. The color is called Creme de Miel, and it's a shimmer, has a little slight shimmer to it, but it's a light cream color shadow as well. I'm not sure if MAC still makes this color. I've had this a while, but I love the effect it gives when it's placed on the lid with a wet brush. So I'm going back in with the Espresso and that same 217 brush just to make sure that that outer corner stays nice and dark, and then I didn't get rid of too much and just blending it out. And again, taking that same Ulta Sable color and blending that crease back out, making sure all those colors are nice and blended, which is important in a classic look. All right, for the brow bone, I'm going to use the color Chamomile. It's also by MAC, and it's a light cream color, but I'm using a fluffy brush to put it on so that it's not too intense. Classic makeup is never overbearing. I'm just retouching everything, making sure everything's nice and blended. And I'm going to take a flat brush and going underneath my lower lid with that color Espresso to tie that bottom lid in with the top, all the way under. All right, time for eyeliner. I'm not sure if this color is discontinued, but it is the dark brown eyeliner by CoverGirl. It was in the Queen collection, and I love it because it's super dark and it shows up on darker hues. Sometimes browns can be a little tricky. And then for the top lid, I'm going to use MAC's Black Track Fluid Line I'm using a silicone angle brush, which I'm not a big fan of. It's actually harder to use than a bristle brush. So it's not my favorite, but it gets the job done. As smooth a line as you can with a wing for the classic makeup look. That nice 50s green. Nothing too big or overly dramatic. Again, we're going for classic and elegant, but still strong enough so that you can see it. Making sure everything is even. And I'm going back with my concealer to fix any slips or smudges that we have accidentally created. All right, mascara time. This is my favorite mascara. I'm using a disposable wand because I'm actually using one that I use on my clients. It's not my personal ones. Never double dip, but it is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash in Carbon Black. It's a very dark black mascara, and it gives lots of volume and length in both my upper and lower lashes. Covering them very well because I'm going to actually do lashes at the end. So for powder, I used the Ben Nye Banana Powder for my T-zone, under my eyes, and all of the places I would like highlighted, down the bridge of my nose, upper lid, on my chin. I do not do baking, so I just put it on like a wood powder. And to contour, I am using Clinique's Nutmeg, just going around the perimeter of my face, my cheekbones, down the sides of my nose, and the hollows of my neck. A nice contour without being overbearing. Keep it classic. So for the blush, I'm using Nars Orgasm. It is a peach shimmer. And for my highlighter, I'm using MAC Accentuate right on cheekbones and down the bridge of my nose, just for a nice natural highlight, a little glow to my face. So for the classic red lip, I'm using my favorite LipSense color in blue red. It's a nice bold classic red, and for those who don't use LipSense, it lasts between 4 to 18 hours. I love to use it on photo shoots and on my brides because the color will not transfer. But you do have to put on 3 layers of color, and you do have to apply in one direction at a time. You can't go back and forth because it will lift. Color application is pretty specific, but it works well. Now I'm going to apply gloss. I'm going to use, you can use matte or glossy, but I am a glossy girl. It gives a nice polished, dressy look in my opinion. And I like how moisturized my lips look after it's glossy. Lipsticks. So I'm want the lines of my lips to be nice and crisp. So especially when I use a red or a dark color, I always go around with concealer. Get a nice crisp line around my lips. And to highlight that color a little bit more. So it's the very same concealer mix I've been using the entire time. Make sure you blend it out nicely. It doesn't stand out like a light bulb. Lips nicely shaped. And I always set it with a powder. So I decided afterwards to add lashes. These are the ones that I used. I cut them just a little bit so that they would fit my eyes. And there you have it. A classic makeup look. And it's a great go-to for when you want to look nice and polished without doing too much or going over the top. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.